Hello everyone, my name is Nick. Thank you very much for checking out my review channel. We have been reviewing the Deadtime Storybooks. We're on to book 5 now, Revenge of the Goblins. This is a great cover by Brooke Steadman. The Green Goblin is sort of in this tree and sort of glowing. We see the claws protruding here. The goblin is sort of more further back and not as visible, but his claw is ready to attack us. So great use of perspective with that one. I love the pink intro cover and how it contrasts well with the green. And of course, the blue and its, red goblin eye. Fantastic cover. Going into the actual book, we have our main characters, Nina and Sammy. They are in the forest, sort of playing, and they come across this treehouse, and it has, a wooden door. They eventually get in the door, and we're met with, like this pretty vivid scene of what is in this tree house, which I really liked. But there is the statue of a goblin there, and the goblin has this orb. And of course, they end up taking the orb, and the goblin comes to life, and ensues a chase scene after the children. Luckily, they do make it home. And so in the night, Sammy, the boy, is the one that has the orb. And so the goblin is trying to get in his house, and Nina sees this from the window. But of course, it fails, thankfully. And the next day, they're late for the school bus, and we start to see what the orb can do. They're able to stop time with it. And Sammy is just super excited about this. And Nina is sort of the voice of reason in this book, and she is always hesitant every scene where they stop time with this orb. So they're on the bus, and Sammy pulls some shenanigans with the school bully on the bus to get him in trouble. Moves him from one seat to another, and the bully's like, "Whoa, what's going on?" And of course, why this is happening, the goblin is still sort of chasing them, trying to get into the bus. And then the next scene, they're in school taking a pop quiz. Sammy stops time again to cheat on the quiz, and of course, get back at the bully and get him in trouble in class, which very funny scene. I enjoyed that quite a bit. Then they're in the mall, and they want arcade money, or Sammy does, and they're with Sammy's mom. She doesn't give them arcade money, so Sammy says, "I'm just gonna stop time." He stops time, and they sort of play around in the mall and all the different shops. At some point, the goblins do come to the mall, and it's just filled with goblins in the mall now, since the humans are all stuck in time. And we get introduced to the big purple goblins. They are the henchmen to the main villain of this book. His name is Baldric. He is like a darker green goblin, and he has these, pointy, veiny ears, and he's just, terrible, terrible bad guy. He wants the orb for himself from the children, which is why he's come, because he wants to have full control over all the goblins and where they come from. At some point we meet in this scene the goblin from earlier, Ilric, who is the brother of Baldric. And Ilric's like, "You kids shouldn't have took the orb. Now look what you've done. You've pretty much ruined your world because the orb, in a scramble to get it, it breaks. And so time is now permanently stuck with all the people frozen." And of course, the goblins are just running crazy. It's like a scene from Gremlins, really. But there are frozen people while they go and, mess up all these stores. And the kids are able to get away from the goblins. Baldric does capture Ilric, though. And so there is a motorbike, and they get it from, it's the bully's motorbike, and they get it from wherever it is close to the mall so they can get home quickly. And why this is happening, there are hands coming out of the ground, goblin hands, grabbing the people and dragging them underground. So the kids are trying to find a way to get to the underground. And they decided, okay, we need to go back to that treehouse. That's probably our best bet, because in the treehouse, there was a set of stairs that descended down below the ground. So they get to the treehouse, after some, shenanigans with the goblins trying to get them. And at some point, one does grab Nina, but Sammy bites down on it and makes it bleed this purple blood, one of the green goblins, which is pretty hardcore. And so luckily they escaped that. So they end up, getting there and going down the steps, making it into the Goblin Kingdom. Here we are faced with giant slugs that apparently is their main food that they eat. We see this dank city they are in, and, we see the glowing green, goblin light emitting throughout. They do get captured down here by the purple goblins, and they are taken to Baldric's castle. And he's like, do you know how to fix the orb? If not, I'm going to eat you. So they pretty much get thrown into the dungeon, where they meet back up with Ilric. And he sort of tells them, that him and Baldric are siblings. When Baldric took power, he used them for bad. And so Ilric did not like this and sealed off the goblin world from the human world. So, eventually they, Baldric sends down like these meat hooks to pull them up to have them for his dinner, since they're of no use to him now. But they grab onto them, and on their way up, they surprise them, and, they're about to, eat the kids here and there. But Nina's like, no, I know how to fix it, because Ilric did tell them how to in the dungeon. And so supposedly what you have to do to connect the pieces back together is a goblin hand and a human hand, with one half they need to come together in order to restore the orb. So Baldric's like, whatever. And so they try it, and there's like such a force to do it, but eventually they do snap back together, and then the energy just goes crazy. And it's a 50-50 shot for either the humans to be stuck, frozen forever, and the goblins get to go free, or the goblins get stuck back in time into the statue state. And as it turns out, in their case, the goblins all turned to statues again. And they had, pretty much won. And then the ground opens up and takes, all of the humans that they took down there back up to the surface. So, everything say, woo, I suppose. They did not get absorbed back up. They went out back the way where the stairs was. So after some time, they do end up back to the surface from the staircase. And they are confronted by the bully from earlier in the story. He saw where they had stolen his bike, and he followed his bike tracks to where they're at. And he's about to give them a pummeling and stuff. But, he misses hitting them, and one of these green eggs that are there, they fall, and they open up and hatch a purple goblin. So you have little purple goblins, and they sort of chase the bully off, and the book ends that way, with the purple goblins coming out and now terrorizing the world. Pretty funny. So how do I feel about the book? To me, this book is a solid 8. I really enjoyed it. I loved all the details, which I didn't go through all here. I thought it was, very good in terms of all the settings they went through too. So if you have the book, haven't read it, give it a read. What did you think of it? Please leave a comment if you have. And on that note, thank you for tuning in to this video, and hope to see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.